And what brought you to SCWIST in the first place?
Well, I've been off and on with SCWIST for many years. Originally, it was when I was working in sciences, and just the whole idea of connecting with other women that were in that career field was always interesting to me.
So roughly how long have you been involved with SCWIST?
Oh, definitely over 5 years, might be pushing 10 years, kind of off and on. And the last things that I was doing, I guess, was before, it would have been about 4 years ago when I was most involved, and I was on the event committee for a little while. And then I started the pub nights. So we would get together once a month and at a pub that had a very great meeting room that we could actually have discussion. We would have a guest speaker that would present some kind of interesting information, and we would have a lot of networking and just around the table chat. So I miss those days. We'll have to start that again.
How did you feel when you were at a pub night?
Oh, it was great. And it was amazing because we had women in so many different fields of science and tech. So it wasn't just a certain group. So each one would present some information. And it was amazing just learning all the different projects people were working on, the different interests that they had, the angles they were taking on different kinds of applications. And of course, hanging out together was always fun too.
Well, you organized them well. You had good mixers. You made everyone welcome. You had good speakers, and it really brought people to SCWIST, and the light would go on about this is what being around a bunch of other intelligent, capable women can be like.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself a little bit, your background and your career path, just very briefly.
Well, mine is a twisted story. And yes, my original career was in medical genetics. So I spent about 25 years working mainly in hospital labs. I also did public education. I worked with Genome BC for a while. That was the public education part where we'd create different programs and information for people. But my main job at that time was in hospital labs. So actually analyzing real people chromosomes and doing diagnostic work on genetics. So that was interesting. But since then, I'd kind of switch things up, and actually now I'm in a position where I am creating projects for women in science and tech, and I right now am putting together a book project, so inviting women that work in science and tech to become contributing authors, where we'd each write one chapter and about the challenges and triumphs of women in a mainly male-dominated field, and fields that are often hard to really work your way up a career path. So I'm excited about that project. So yes, my career has been a bit non-traditional.
Wonderful. It's a wonderful career. What challenges did you ever have, or did you have any challenges as a woman in STEM or a girl in STEM?
Well, luckily for myself, going into more of a medical side of things, it was not so male dominated. So I never really had an issue with that. And I think part of it too is that I've always kind of been one of the boys. So I never saw men as being a challenge to me. So I never saw that ceiling. So it hasn't been a big issue for me, but I definitely see it in so many other fields.
What would be your message to girls considering, or women considering, going into STEM?
Just that really allow yourself to dream big. Don't limit yourself to the traditional things. That was always one of my pet peeves, where it was that list of what do you want to be when you grow up. It's like the list is endless now. You can really put all sorts of things together. I was talking to a woman the other day whose original degree was in engineering, but now she's added law and business to it, and now going to do a PhD that includes all those things together. So just dream big, and that opportunity's out there if you look for it.
What are your hopes and dreams for women in STEM in the future? If you could wave a magic wand, how would you change the world, and how would it be changed?
I think when we get to the point that women don't have to worry about being second-class citizens, or if they don't have to worry about having to face bigger challenges than they see that their peers are having, the day that we can just all come to a career that's of interest to us, that we are, have some special skills and just step into it without that fear and without those feelings that you've got an extra backpack that you're dragging through the system with you, that just go do it and follow your dreams.
And what message would you have for SCWIST on its 40th anniversary?
definitely keep up the great work. I think it's been amazing. The programs and just the inclusion, the information. There's such a need for what SCWIST is doing. And I think they're just getting better and better and better at bringing it to the right people and connecting with a wider audience. So I'm glad we're going national now. And it'd be great if we'd kind of be tapping into more international groups as well.
And what are your hopes and dreams for your future?
Well, the mission of my life in the last decade has been to create a cycle of wealth and success among women around the world. And parts of that, I mean, wealth and success means different things to everybody. And to me, it means finding what you love, doing what you love, living a life that you're happy and inspired with. So that's my dream, to put that out there and help as many women as I can to hit that just general inspiration and happy with where they're at in life.
And the world is full of bad news, but how do you feel about the future?
I try not to dwell on the bad news. In my view, there's more good going on than bad. We just don't always hear about it. Sometimes we have to look for it, but it's out there. And my goal is that I think the more we each take on a positive energy of our own and reach out to help others, that in my mind is what's going to be the tipping point of bringing, more positive stuff back to the world. So focus on what's good, focus on spreading around what's good, and try not to dwell on, some of the things going on around us.